Welcome to the Bleaching Monk Regill Companion Build Guide for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This build was designed to be fun and work on core difficulty and below. It is an alternate build for Regill, meaning that while he does have his own classes, we are going to utilize a completely different class for his character. We're going to be using every single feat that he has already acquired and none goes to waste. This build is very strong damage-wise and is capable of doing 1000+ damage against enemies every single round. This character is also using mounted combat, so if you're potentially not interested in mounted combat, then beware that this build is solely focused around using a horse as your mount. For maximum efficiency for this build, I do recommend that you build one of your party members as a Skald. Skald is a special class that is able to enrage its allies and apply barbarian rage powers to all of them. There is a special barbarian rage power called Greater Beast Totem. Greater Beast Totem is able to share the Pounce ability to everyone in your party who is affected by your Inspire Rage. Pounce is a special ability that causes your character to be able to do a full round action while you're charging. Usually if you are charging, you can only attack once as a standard action, but now if you're going to be charging, you will be able to attack multiple times, meaning with this build, you will be able to attack 11 times, even 12 times by endgame while you're charging. Why is this so important? It is important because in this game currently, whether this is intended or not, I sadly can't tell because it really just depends on the developers how they're going to improve this in the future, if it's going to be fixed or not. Right now, the way it works is if you're charging, every single charge bonus in the game applies for a full round. This means Spirited Charge, or any charge attack such as the Mythic Charge bonuses will apply to every single one of your attacks for a round, including even Attack of Opportunities, Cleaving Finish, or really any attack that you're doing. Meaning, if your character is going to pounce, we're going to be pouncing with Regill, doing 11 attacks on the enemy on a charge, and each of those attacks are going to do 100+ damage, resulting in charges with over 1000 damage per round. Sohei is a special monk subclass that is able to apply its Flurry of Blows bonus to weapons that they have chosen weapon training with through a special Sohei weapon training feat. Flurry of Blows is a special monk mechanic that allows you to make additional attacks at your full base attack bonus if you are using unarmed attacks. Now Sohei is making this improving this further, that at level 6 they can choose from a set of weapon trainings, especially for this Sohei Monk subclass, that Flurry of Blows is going to apply to. This is a very special ability, as Flurry of Blows is able to give you +2 bonus attacks, which is very powerful. The trick and the reason why this is a fantastic choice for Regill is that apparently, as I tested weapon training, all kinds of weapon training, in fact, applies to Flurry of Blows. And since Regill already has levels in Fighter and has weapon training in double weapons, such as his Gnome Hooked Hammers, it is going to work with Sohei. And with that, as soon as we take Sohei levels with Regill and even reach level 11 with Sohei, he's going to get +2 additional attacks at his full base attack bonus. I have listened to your feedback, and the most requested change was to include a combined spreadsheet for all the levels so you can follow the leveling process easier. Hope you enjoy it. Regill joins our party at level 6 if you choose to help the Hell Knights, which is a requirement for this build. He already has 2 weapon fighting, weapon focus, specialization and weapon training in Gnome Hooked Hammers, and learn weapon finesse and fighter's finesse. This means he can dual wield his hammer and will also now use his dexterity stat to hit enemies. He also has full specialization in the Gnome Hooked Hammer for the use of Flurry of Blows. From level 7 until 20, we will only be leveling as a Sohei Monk. We take Boon Companion to give our horse +4 levels, and we will be able to attain level 18 on him by the end, so he's not losing out on much. Our first monk ability is Spirited Charge, which is the core ability for this guide. From now on, you will be dealing double damage, with double weapon damage each time you charge an enemy with your mount. Dodge helps us a little bit with survivability, and outflank on both Regill and the horse will make sure you will always get the +4 flanking bonus when you attack enemies. 2-weapon fighting feats will allow us to attack more times with your weapon, and leg sweep will give us a chance to trip enemies, though we aren't really focusing on this route. Monk weapon training can be ignored, so choose anything you like. True Strike is invaluable against tough enemies to hit, but keep in mind you cannot use it while you're enraged, so you either use Pounce or True Strike. I also like to use Combat Reflexes for additional attacks of opportunity. Abundant Staff is a fantastic monk teleport, and it will help you charge in and teleport out of battle without suffering any losses. Double Slice further increases your offhand weapon damage, and Improved Critical will increase your weapon critical range for those juicy damage bonuses. Defensive Spin allows you to tank a little bit more when you can, but this build is not really designed to be in the heat of battle, so it is just for safety measures. For our last feats, we take Dazzling Display and Shatter Defenses combo to decrease some enemy armor classes by endgame while they're under the fear effects. And Key Power Barkskin will free an amulet slot for your character, so you can use something more valuable. For the final monk feats, I like to take Improved Initiative for that little advantage, and Diamond Soul for some spell resistance. I will also explain my mythic choices in order. We take Mythical Beast to give our horse an immediate boost to its stats and effectiveness in battle. Mythic Weapon Finesse will now allow you to also use Dexterity for damage bonuses on your weapon attacks. Mythic Charge is an incredibly powerful ability that will give you unresistible divine damage on each of your charges. Then we take all weapon focused feats to boost our weapon's general effectiveness. They will increase your accuracy, damage, and critical strikes with gnome hooked hammers. Archmage Armor is to make sure we have survivability, since monks only get their flurry of blows while they are unarmored, so make sure you're not wearing armor and you use Mage Armor instead. Abundant Key allows us to use our key powers more, and Leading Strikes is a powerful combo ability that we can use together with our horse for constant additional divine damage. Honorary Mention goes for Last Stand if you like to use it, Flawless Attacks, and Unstoppable abilities that are worth checking. I have also put together a chart for your horse and how to level your mounts up with this Sohei. There are only a few feats that are worth mentioning, I think, but the most important part is that I chose to level the horse as a Bulwark archetype. Your most important feats is going to be Die Hard, Outflank, and Heavy Barding possibly. I like to take Die Hard at level 1, since as you well know, if you die with a horse, then it throws the mounted character off and you're gonna be prone for 1 round. Die Hard allows you to stay in combat for 1 more round, so it actually gives you a chance to dismount the horse and avoid this trouble. Outflank is very good on horses, since teamwork feats do work on horses and their mounted characters. So you will always be using Outflank no matter if you're alone or there are enemies, or if there are allies near you. For this, it is very important that your first stat that you put into your mount is going to be Intelligence, as the requirement for Outflank and teamwork feats is to have 3 intelligence, but horses only start with 2. Then at level 6, you will also get medium barding through Bulwark, and at level 11, you take heavy barding so that you can use the best barding for charges by the end of the game. The playstyle of this character is very straightforward. The moment you reach level 7 and you start leveling as a Sohei and you get your mount along with Spirited Charge, your playstyle will be exactly the same until level 20. This character wants to avoid fighting in the thick of battle at all costs, and all you want to do is make use of your monk abilities, such as extra attack to attack +1 more times, get Pounce through Inspired Rage from your Scald, so you can do a full round attack and just charge enemies whenever you can. Meaning what you want to achieve is charge an enemy if you can, kill it, get out of the battle, go back, and charge someone else. You will be doing double damage every single time this happens. Meanwhile, with your party, all you want to do is keep the enemy up, do damage if you have other very good damage dealers, stun especially if it's possible, and keep your monk alive no matter what. The way charging works, especially in turn-based, is you will be able to charge through enemies. So now that you have a little bit of bonuses, even in this point, you don't want to disengage the battle. You just want to keep on charging. Charge through the enemies, ignore whatever they can do, and just go on and keep attacking. Against most enemies in the game, this is really just going to mean that you're going to be one-shotting every enemy, and you're going to be charging from A to B, killing enemies one by one, and win fights very easily. On boss fights, it's going to change a little bit more. as your party will become your ultimate support. And what they're going to try to do is debuff the enemy as much as possible, put all the buffs on that one charge for your monk. And if you're able to do a full pounce charge on a boss, you will be doing hundreds of damage from the get-go. And by the end of the game, you're going to be doing over 1,000 damage every single time you charge on the enemy. And there's nothing they will be able to do about it. We have explored Regill's items. Now it is time to explore some of the abilities that I do recommend on using on him. You will be using charge a lot, and it is straightforward, so I don't think we need to discuss that. But since he already has 1 level in Hell Knight, you will be able to use Smite Chaos. This is a little bit of a bonus that he can use to boost his attacks, especially against the boss or whoever you want to charge. So even though you can only use it once, this is a really good ability that you can use throughout the game against bosses. Your most important monk ability is going to be Extra Attack. This is a swift action, but it does work with your Gnome Hooked Hammer as a Sohei, even though it says it's only for unarmed strikes. What this does is every time you will attack in a round, you will get +1 attack. So if you're doing 8 attacks, with this, you're going to be doing 9 attacks. True Strike is exactly the true strike that you would otherwise use. If you can't hit an enemy, you can cast this True Strike in your character, and your next attack is going to be getting a +20 inside bonus, and it will pretty much guarantee that your next charge is going to hit. Abundance Tap is also very useful. This is what I was already mentioned. Once you charge into battle, but you're in a thick situation, you can just use Abundance Tap, and it is going to teleport your monk away from trouble without actually triggering attacks of opportunity. Lex Sweep is going to be your monk attack style. This will let you maybe trip a few enemies here and there, but you're not really using it too much. Then the very special Melander's Penance Belt for monks is also another item that you will be using. It is a standard action, so keep it in mind. But every time you use a key, you will be able to reduce the enemy's armor class by 2. And this is very useful, again, to debuff the enemies a little bit more. And you will not only help your own charges hit the enemies, but you will also support your whole team. Then, until you get the +5 natural armor amulet, you will also have Key Power Barkskin, which can help you a little bit. Or if you do want to use Valexia's Magnifying Amulet on another character, then you can use a different amulet, and you can use Barkskin to actually boost your natural armor and still use a different amulet without having to use natural armor amulets. Thank you so much for the support, everyone. I hope you like this guide and the changes I have made to my build guides and videos format, and I hope you will enjoy playing as Sohei Regill. Have fun with the build, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all the next time.